Okay, it's been a real hot minute since I gave like a real lifetime update, and I don't even know when this video is gonna come out. So this update is probably outdated. Right now it is February the 26th, 2024, and I want to tell you about the Cambo experience that I had. Cambo, which is spelled Kambo, is this is my interpretation of it, okay? A ritual not unlike ayahuasca that gets you to purge what is not serving you, what is holding you stuck, what is holding you back. So this could be your fears, it could be a pattern, it could be an addiction, it could be a relationship, it could be grief, or just whatever it is that is in your system physically and also spiritually. It gets you to purge that out. Cambo itself is the poison from a frog that is collected and is placed on a burn part of your skin. So I'll show you some of mine. I chose to get one here, my right wrist. Okay, and it's sealed with dragon blood at the end, that's why it's red. And then I have one at the back of my neck. I have one on my ankle, my left ankle, and I also have one for my throat chakra, and I also have one for above my heart chakra. And then this is just that's my beauty birthmark that came when I was born. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my ankle. And what happened is it was my first shamanic experience, and it was incredible. I remember when I first hired my first life coach ever. She said, I feel intuitively in your cards that it would be extremely beneficial for you to see a shaman. And I've never seen a shaman until just recently. And being with her, she was absolutely phenomenal. If anything, if this Cambo thing didn't work, like just being in her presence so held. She said one sentence to me, and it was just basically exactly what I said to her in a form. And I felt like an ocean of like sorrow just come through me, and it was hard for me to form the words. I spoke rather slowly, and I told her on the form when she asked me like what is your intention for doing Cambo, besides being semi-pressured and convinced by a friend that was absolutely changed by her experience. I had a lot that I did want to release, and one of them was just my body image issues. I just hated the skin, the flesh that I'm in, my frame. I see myself as fat. I see myself as stocky, and I don't even want to go through the words that I think of myself as, because I don't want to speak them into existence anymore. But I did not think of myself very nicely in this beautiful God-given flesh meat suit that I'm borrowing. So I said I wanted to purge that. I wanted to be able to look in the mirror and just not hate myself. And so it was me, my friend who was training to become a Cambo practitioner, so like I guess you could say a shaman for that, and another friend that I met who was also doing Cambo for the first time. We went inside. Beautiful setup. Like I immediately felt the ambience of like an indigenous space. There was feathers, there were crystals, there were gems, there were little tiny statues of Buddha, there were candles, there was cushions, I think there was like a smell of incense, and then there was a fire stove on my left. We started the ceremony with a little talk on basically what to expect, and then we moved into the first thing, which is to get us activated. I forgot what they call this thing, but it is a liquid that you put on your eyes, and it stings. and it's supposed to activate, I think it was either this or the next one. It was supposed to activate your third eye chakra. But it's supposed to wake you up. And me having a high pain tolerance, I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna sting. This mother hurt like a biatch. I remember when she dropped it in my eyes, like I shot up. I sat up, I was like, fudge. Ah, like I said, ah. And I was immediately activated. Like my sympathetic nervous system was just like activated, and it just burned for less than 15 minutes, more like 10 to 15 minutes. It slowly wears out. I was like, oh my God, this hurts. And I had to breathe through it. And I was like, and I was gripping my fingers into my fist. That hurt. It really hurt. And then it slowly wore off. And I thought to myself, oh my God, am I going to go blind? It doesn't do that. So that woke me up. And then the next thing kind of woos me out. She had this long tube horn thing that became more and more narrow. And she placed some sort of green powder on one end. And the other side was supposed to be inserted into your left nostril. And she gently blows from her side so that the powder goes into your nose. And I think this also activates your third eye chakra. And you want to try to breathe through your mouth because you're going to cough it right out if you breathe through your nose. You're going to sneeze it right out. And then so she does that for the right side, and then she does that for the left side. The left side, and then she does that for the right side. And I felt a little bit like woozy for the next 15 minutes. And I kind of just wanted to curl up with the cushion and lay there for a little bit. But these two, I don't know much about it, but these two things are meant to activate and prime you for the ceremony. So, on to the Cambo. My friend went first, and it was really amazing to watch her flow with the spirit of Cambo when she was inundated with it, and she was, like swaying from side to side, and she was she had a bucket in front of her, and she drank and glugged a bunch of water, and you're supposed to puke that out, and it's just water because we were fasted. And yeah, it was just kind of amazing watching her go through that and letting that shift her. And then when it came to my turn, because the shaman works one-on-one, when it came to my turn, I sat down in front of Tara, and she said, so you tell me that you feel fat. And I just started bawling. I started bawling. It's not the first time that I've been confronted with someone saying the words right out loud in front of me, but it was the way she held the space sitting in front of me. And we talked a little bit. I talked a lot more than my friend because I guess that was just the way that it came up. I talk, and we talked, and she shared her own thoughts around body image for herself, and she loves what she has today. She's a gorgeous woman, and her eyes were just soft, wide, expansive gaze. And after we talked, we began. She told me to drink. There was a water jug like this. It looked like a venti Starbucks sized container. And I drank 3 of that straight within 3 minutes. Glug, 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 glug. And I was super duper uncomfortably full. This is the point, to be really super uncomfortably full and fasted. So, cold water, glug, 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 and I was uncomfortably full, and I had a white puke bucket in front of me. Should I puke? And she lit something that looked like an incense stick, but thicker. It was like this thick. And she said, where would you like to place the Cambo? And I said, I don't know. And I thought. And then all of a sudden I said, I want one here on my right wrist. Because I said, I said to myself so many times when I was a preteen, if I ever get a tattoo, it would say titanium and it would be right on my wrist. So I could look at it and be reminded just how strong I am and how many times I wanted to, wished, and super glad that I couldn't all at once to cut myself, but I couldn't, and I didn't. And so I don't know, there's just something super duper vulnerable about the wrist. It's like I'm showing you how I bleed. This is how I bleed. I'm bleeding wide open. When you show your wrist to someone, you're showing vulnerability. I'm showing my insides to you. And so I said, I want one there. Great. And then I said, I want one at the back of my neck for sure. Something intuitive in me just knew that was the spot. And then she suggested the heart chakra. And I said, yeah, I was thinking about that, but I was overthinking and I didn't say it. So the heart chakra. And then she placed one on my left ankle. And then she placed one on my throat chakra. So she lit that end up, whatever this thing is, and she places it on your skin. And I can't help but always suck in a breath and go, ah, because it burns. Not like the eye burn of the liquid in our eyes, but it burns. Not more painful than just getting like a needle for an injection or something, that initial sting. It doesn't hurt more than that. It's not unbearable pain. So after that, she takes this small scraper and she's scraping something on wood, but there's like a slime on wood, and she's just scraping that until it gathers into this tiny ball of white, cloudy, it almost looks like clay. White, cloudy clay. And that is the Cambo. And then she places it on the burn mark. It looks like a gel, basically. And it stings. It stings, not unbearable, but it stings like if somebody were to do this and just hold your skin like that for a little bit. It stung. With this one, after a few minutes, like there was a streak of red coming down my arm. And I wasn't sure what it was. It didn't hurt, but it started getting like inflamed, which is supposed to happen. It started to grow a little bump and then it ran down. Now, normally you just get the red bump around where the spot of the initiation is, but not, spots can pop up. That's just like a sign. But yeah, so there was that, the back of my neck, heart, throat, ankle, and I was so ready to purge. I was so ready to just throw up all this water that was like, I was so uncomfortably full. I'm like, I hope I throw up. I hope I puke this up because it's so like uncomfortable. And I couldn't. I sat there for 20 minutes. My friend puked gorgeously. Everybody I have ever heard of has puked. And I was like so ready. Like I was expected to puke this up, to puke up this trauma, this pattern, this belief, all of that. And like nothing. If anything, I just burped. I burped a lot and I let myself burp. A few like little bit of spit came out of my mouth and I just spat that into the bucket. But after 20 minutes, I just sat there looking helpless and kind of like in and out of it. I'm feeling cold. I'm feeling super stuffed and uncomfortable. And I'm feeling spicy. And I look up at her, she's holding the space so lovingly in front of me. I look up at her with my pitiful, empty puke bucket. And I said, I don't think I'm gonna puke. And she goes, oh, and then you wouldn't be doing it perfectly, wouldn't you? Ah. And it was the reassuring thing I needed to hear. Because for me, I expected to puke. I expected to have this huge cathartic, oh my God, wow them kind of moment, wow myself kind of moment. That it didn't happen. It didn't meet the expectation. And so what? Maybe I needed to puke the expectation that I was going to have this huge thing. And I needed to get rid of the desire to want to be perfect, to want to be good, to want to be excellent, to want to be doing it right. You know, in acting conservatory, when I was in acting conservatory, I was told, I remember, a professor said, I'm going to tell you what all of your defaults are, like your default archetype. And he looked at me and he said, Linda, you're the good girl. And what I heard was, you're boring. But he was right. I am the good girl. I like sitting front and center next to the professor. Even in workshops, I like being right next to them. I like doing things right. I like wowing people. I like wowing myself. I like having this like ecstatic moment. I like to aim to impress myself. I'm the good girl. I wanted to do it right. And that was my pattern coming up right there. It was so anticlimactic. I just felt so pitiful about myself that I couldn't do it right. I couldn't puke. I wanted to puke. And this shaman lady said, you're doing everything right. This is meant to happen. That it's not happening, it's meant to happen. There's nothing that's a mistake. Everything that got you to where you are now, all your traumas, all your mistakes, all your wrongdoings, all your regrets, it was meant to happen. There is no mistake. Life is unfolding you. Stop putting your own agenda on what you think is supposed to look like or be or feel like. Let life unfold you. Right now, you are not puking and it's freaking perfect. You're doing it right. And she had to keep reminding me many times during that ceremony because I couldn't believe myself. And then I had the thought, and I really, really started bawling my eyes out. Your body is broken. See, I told you. And that has been the voice at the back of my head for everything. The shape of my body, the metabolisms of my body, the size of my body, why it does this, why it doesn't do that, why doesn't it do that, why doesn't it react that way when I want it to, why I have indigestion, why the insomnia, because your body is broken, was my belief, and I really just started bawling. My body is intelligent and strong and capable, and it does exactly what it's supposed to, and if it's not supposed to, it doesn't. And I'm tapping more and more into that belief. It was so nice the way she kept reassuring me, this is your purge. Couldn't help but feel disappointed. But I'm happy to have life unfold me because I don't want to plan everything in life. I don't want to know everything. There's no spice there. There's no magic there. I want life to unfold me, and I want it to surprise me, and I want me to even surprise me. So I stopped trying to control my own ascension, my own purge. I try to stop controlling my own surrender. After about 1 hour of just sitting there and feeling all of this flow through me, I went home and I was like hungry. So I ate good food, was in good company. It was good. I don't regret it at all. Has it ecstatically changed me? It's way too early to say. This just happened the day before yesterday. The day before? The day before yesterday now. And usually, like, 1 is good, 2 is better, 3 is phenomenal. And I've only did 1. And I won't be doing it again anytime soon because I just don't feel called to yet. But Wow, what an experience. And I call these markings my new blessings. And in the end, she took the frog poison off, and she sealed it with a little tincture that was red. And I said, what is that? And she said it was dragon's blood. Whatever that is, but oh, I love it. I feel blessed. And that was my Cambo experience. One day I would like to try ayahuasca. And that was my first shamanic experience. Phenomenal. Oh, loved it. And I would say the essence of that shaman really was everything. It really sealed everything together. She blew smoke around me, and then she fanned me with feathers. And then she, I just can't explain it to you. It's an experience. It's an experience. It's a very, very spiritual experience. Wow. Okay. Yeah. If you've tried Cambo before, I'd love to hear your experience. And I really hope you enjoyed my story. I love you. Please remember that you are beautiful. You are divinely created. Don't believe the lies and self-despise. Don't turn your back on yourself. They taught you false wealth. They taught you so well. Indoctrinate yourself. Disenchant yourself from everything that you have been taught. And live freely. Just wanted to do that.